So I'm Max, but you could call me Moose. I'm on day 3 or I just finished up day 4 of throwing today. And yeah.
Very cool. And yeah, how old are you? Where are you from?
All right, so I'm 12 and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
I love it. Okay, and how did you guys find me?
Okay, so I have Instagram and I've always watched Coach Rack. And then I've seen videos of you and Coach Rack and you guys are kind of like the same account, you guys teach the same way. So I stumbled upon your account and I started following you, and then I saw a video of what catch core is about, and we just went on a call and we got started.
That's awesome. And what about you, Mark? Did you say that you saw the little carousel post that I made, or
Yeah, I actually, it's crazy. Obviously, I know Coach Rack and hadn't seen you on any of his videos for some, the algorithm of Instagram. And, Max is 12, just turned 12, but playing up a year and playing on the big field. And so one of the things that I know that he was kind of struggling with was throwing to as a catcher, throwing a second, throwing a third, not because of arm strength, but more because you can get away with a lot of lack of fundamentals on the 50-70 field, right? You can power it through. And I happen to be, again, Instagram is an amazing thing. I happen to be trying to figure out, was there some way that I could teach him, about getting the proper footwork to throwing down, and stumbled upon one of your videos and then sent it to Moose. I was like, are you willing to do this? And he was like, absolutely. So that's how we found it.
that's awesome. I'm curious, what did you search on Instagram? Like, how did you go about that process?
I think I just was looking for catching videos, and I don't, it was a month ago, so I wish I could say my memory was that good. Or it's one of those things where Instagram read my mind. And I was looking for, probably was more Instagram reading my mind, and happened to stumble upon you. Then just did some digging and saw Coach Rack there, and then was like, well, obviously if Coach is working with you, and then found out your teammates and all the good stuff, I was like, well, now I know this is a reputable person and a good human who's gonna do the work that he says he's gonna do. So.
That's very cool. Okay, so Moose, from your perspective, what were some of the big challenges that you were having before we started working together?
Okay, so before I would say I would piggyback and I would say throwing down and I would also say knowing what stance to get into at what time. So I'd be going in my stance, my single knee would be just a single knee down and I just have it up there. I would say, and I use that most of the time. And now I've learned to oh, I need a secondary I could use for breaking pitches, and my primary I could use for fastballs and all that stuff. So yeah, that's really what I was struggling with before.
That's awesome. Okay, so then tell me a little bit about what the experience was like on a day-to-day basis of you doing the work and watching the videos, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I love baseball, so I was this wouldn't be oh, I have to do catching again today. It's just like can I do catching today before it gets too dark out? And so I really liked that part, and the flexibility of I didn't have to do it every single day, with my practice schedule and stuff like that. So it was really good.
That's awesome. Mark, what would you say from your experience? What was it like?
Yeah, to me, I loved, and I've told you this, I think the bite size instruction where that Moose could watch the video and then we're outside for 5 to 10 minutes working on this, to me it worked perfectly, especially because we're in season. So like he had practice Wednesday at 5:30. We have to leave about 4:40, but he got home from school about 3:45, grab something to eat, and I was like, just watch the video while you're eating something. Let's go do this. So if there was a longer commitment, there would have been less ability to keep on schedule, right? So that's the thing I loved about it, and you explained it in one of the first videos I saw about you were giving the 60-minute lessons and then you were having to reteach it every time. And so I just thought this idea is brilliant. Plus, Moose just doesn't play catcher like he pitches. He plays the corners. He plays outfield too. So I can't get into something that's all encompassing on catching without working on the other skill sets as well, right? At this age, they're playing everything. So I just found it to be really well done. Again, I love the bite-size approach to it. 10 minutes a day, we can manage. If it was a half hour a day, we would have trailed off. And that would have been a real, a 4-week program probably is going to turn into 5-ish because of games and stuff like that. But it would have been it could have been a 2-month program, right? If it was long. So, and I've just seen great growth. And you may ask that question after, so I don't want to elaborate there. But if you want me to, I can.
Yeah, well, let's go right into it. What changes have you seen?
Do you want to? You go first.
Yeah. So I mean, the changes that I've seen was like first off, like my stances. I feel like they just got so much better, and like because of that, I got to like my sign stance, and then going from a sign stance to a single knee, like just like the confidence and like everything, like it just took a giant boost. And like that helped me be a better catcher because you need confidence and like to get into the right position, and like the stance is the first thing. So I feel like I really benefited from that. Yeah.
I feel like to echo his point, getting that stance and that balance has changed. I mean, he caught last Saturday. I don't even think you had a wild pitch that I remember, pass ball or anything got by him. The throws, even though we hadn't even gotten to the throwing part of the program yet, were way better. The receiving was always something he kind of knew, but I've seen better there too. I just think the stance portion formed a base that gave him the ability to make improvement. I mean, I'm sure some of the throwing has come down to getting used to the distance, and some of the things have come down to just more experience. But you gave him the base and the ability to then work on it. He just called a really confident, great game. The ability to do, there's one pitch where he called for a fastball up at the letters and just stuck it, and it was just impressive to me. And it just, even his throw down, like you almost threw a couple guys out last week, and that hasn't really happened for anybody throwing somebody out on the big field, right? Like unless it's a slow person and you happen to get a catcher with a big arm. So just seeing like a better base and a better approach to the whole thing, and again the confidence out of the stance to get into it.
That's so cool. Okay, Moose, what would you say was your favorite part of the program?
My favorite part was the receiving. I really like doing like the receiving, and like I really like learning like all these new drills that now I could like keep on practicing and like keep on doing like when I get older and older. Yeah, the drills I would probably say, yeah.
That's cool. What would you say, Mark?
I just thought it was cool to see the fact that we just had a purpose and something to do. for that time. And to see there was no balking on wanting to do this every day, right? We did it today. Unfortunately, you'll see the video. We were in a batting cage, and it was like gravel, and it wasn't the best place to do the blocking drills, right? But I just loved that every day you made it fun. He was conscientious about doing the journal, doing the drills every day, and then conscientious about doing the journal. And I really felt like it was just a really good program. And I just see the growth and the ability, getting better from this, and look forward to, figuring out what the next program is, and the next program. I know you have other things to help us, but like I said, catching is one of the positions he plays. So it was the right amount, and the right thing. And if he's happy with it, then I'm happy with it. And if I'm not tugging him to go out and do it, then that's a winner.
Well, that's awesome, you guys. Thank you very much. That was perfect.